you want to grow your business, but you're strapped for cash, right? I get it. So in the first couple years of my own business, I bootstrapped my own business and spent my own money pouring into it. And it took me probably 4 times as long to get my business to perform the way that I wanted to, simply because I was strapped for cash too. In this video, I'm going to share a few ways that small businesses and startups can find funding for their business. Because if you're looking for capital, you're in good company. Because so many other people are bootstrapping their businesses just like you and just like me. So stay tuned and listen to all the different ways that you too can come up with funding for your small business.
Hey, I am Chanel Yarber, and I am the brains and beauty behind BrightGirl Media. My goal is to empower women entrepreneurs with the tools and strategies they need to effectively market their businesses online.
Now, there are a number of ways that small business owners can capitalize their businesses. There's pitch competitions and grants and incubators, crowdfunding, business credit, loans, and of course bootstrapping. So make sure that you're paying attention to all the different ways that you can be able to grow your business, and that you're not afraid to take a chance on yourself. Because so many times small business owners are bootstrapping their own business because they are afraid of rejection. They're afraid of taking out debt or building business credit in order to capitalize. They're afraid of putting together a strong pitch so that they can get in front of a venture capitalist or an investor. And I want to encourage you that if you really want to be strong and you want to grow a strong business, you need to be able to leverage other people's money. Hands down. You will not be able to do it all on your own. You are going to stunt your own growth, just like I did, until you realize that, hey, I need a little extra leverage, I need a little extra cash really to get me where I know I need to be, and to a place where my business is going to perform and give me a return on that investment. Now, the sad thing, or I don't want to say sad, let me not say sad, let me just say unfortunate thing, is that 62% of small business owners are out here self-funding their businesses. And when I think about that in terms of showing up like I do as an African American woman, I know that we don't always have the funds to self-fund at the rate that some of our other counterparts do. So that's why, even though Black-owned businesses and Black woman-owned businesses are starting faster than other people's businesses, they're also failing because they're undercapitalized. So sharing this information with you is really a labor of love for me, because I want to make sure that other people who share my experience have an opportunity to learn, grow, and really capitalize their businesses, because we are brilliant, we're smart, we're capable, and sometimes the money is just the problem that we're facing. Now, I coach students on how to build businesses, and I highly recommend that each and every one of my students start out with a strong business foundation. That means that they are setting up their businesses properly in order to be able to gain business capital or business credit. So filing the correct paperwork with your local or your state government, making sure you have your EIN number so that you can, be tax credible, getting a business banking account, and separating and not commingling your personal funds with your business funds, and also starting to build business tiers of credit. So doing those simple things, and I promise you, some of the paperwork, you can get that done in a week. It is very easy, very simple, and very straightforward to fill out the paperwork and get a lot of this stuff done, so that you have a strong and a firm foundation from which to launch, so that when it's time for you to borrow money or go to the bank, then you have a place to, or a leg to stand on. Also, I want to say, make sure that you're building relationships with your business bankers, because they know of opportunities, especially like when the PPP came out and EIDL and all that stuff. My business bankers were actually calling me, asking me, hey, have you applied? Do you need help applying? This is what we're seeing out here. Why don't you get into this program? And so making sure that you have relationships with people who are able to give you access to capital is key. Another program that I am knowledgeable of is Lift Fund. I know they have an office here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and I communicate with the people that are there, and they're there to help small businesses grow. So make sure that you are building relationships with places like that, because they put you in touch with funders. They make sure that you are set up properly, and they have a fund, it's called Lift Fund, in order to be able to help capitalize small businesses. So make sure that you're positioning yourself whatever way you can and with whatever resources are out there, so that you're not missing the opportunity to grow. Now, crowdfunding is also an excellent way to build business capital. When I started my business in 2012, one of the very first things that I did was I set up a GoFundMe. I got a crowdfunding coach, and I went for it. And it was great. I was able to raise the first $5,000 for my business. I didn't hit my goal initially, but hey, $5,000 worth of business capital to get started and to move forward, it was great. I mean, I initially started my business with $800, so of course I needed more money for marketing and for infrastructure and tools and things like that. And so that extra $5,000 that I raised, it was great for me. Now, there's two different types of crowdfunding that you can do. You can either do a campaign that is for incentive, or you can do an equity-based crowdfunding campaign. Now, if you want to do an equity-based crowdfunding campaign, you want to make sure that all your paperwork is properly filed with the SEC, that you have an attorney and an accountant and all of that stuff, so that when people are issued stock in your business, they're able to receive whatever dividends or anything that you need to make sure that they're remunerated. But it's a great way for you to be able to grow money for your business, and so that you're not over leveraged or overstrapped for cash, and other people have a little stake in a claim as well. So I highly recommend crowdfunding. If you've gained anything from this video, make sure you like it and drop a comment below. I want to hear from you. Now back to what I was saying. Another way that I highly advise my students to build money or to grow capital for their business is by building business credit. Now, I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but I'm going to go into a little bit more detail just so that you understand the process. Now, building business credit honestly is much easier to me, in my humble opinion, than building and maintaining your personal credit, because you are working with trade lines or vendors just like you would if you're getting a Visa card or whatever that you're building your personal credit with, but you're doing it for your business and in your business name. Now, sometimes you may need to personally guarantee things as yourself, which means they may not actually pull your credit. They may do a soft pull on your personal credit, but your name is just on the file to make sure that if anything goes wrong, you're personally guaranteeing the debt. But it's not going to report on your personal credit. It's actually going to report on your business credit. So I'm sure you've heard of Duns and Bradstreet or Experian Business or some of the other vendors or the other credit bureaus, that are there for businesses. But you want to make sure that you properly set up your business, that you get a DNB or a Dun and Bradstreet number, and that you start working with some of those tier 1 vendors like Quill, like Uline or Granger or Crown Office Supplies, and there's a ton of other ones that I highly recommend as well. And I'll actually leave the links below so that you can find these vendors and start building your business credit, because it is so important. It allows you to separate yourself from the business, and you're not coming out of pocket and using your own funds. So I tell people, when you're building business credit, think of it. They are looking at you as an economic driver. And so they're not going to lend you $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 like they would personally based upon your personal credit. They're looking at you as an employer or somebody that's going to stimulate the economy. So they're going to lend you 10, 20, sometimes $100,000, depending upon, the type of funding that you get and how you build your business credit. So make sure that you remain credible, that you get out here and you start building your business credit. And if you need some help, reach out to me, because I love talking about this stuff, because it has really changed the trajectory of my business, being able to build a strong business credit profile. Now, I don't want you to forget about grants either, because grants have been really going rampant in the past year. We saw this with the pandemic. We saw a lot of money going toward Black-owned businesses with the Black Lives Matter movement. We saw women entrepreneurs getting opportunities to grow their businesses through funding and grants. And so if you need some help there, I need you to check out another video that I have on this channel, and it's called Resources for Black Women Entrepreneurs. It's not really just for Black women. Some of them are for Black-owned businesses as well. But if you're a woman entrepreneur, I need you to check that video out, because there's a ton of funds and there's a ton of resources for grants and different competitions and things like that for you to be able to apply for and get some capital for your business. And of course, I'm going to mention venture capital. Now, typically venture capital is synonymous with tech companies, but they are there for businesses in other sectors as well. Now, you want to make sure that you have a strong profile, you have a written business plan that's not just something that you scribbled on a napkin, that you have an actual viable business plan, that you're ready to pitch, that you have numbers and resources and references and all that stuff together so that you can put your business before a venture capitalist and potentially get an investor out of it. Now, what I will say about this is that historically women and minorities have had a hard time getting capitalized with venture capital, but recently there have been a ton of pushes for venture capital to be available to those communities. So make sure you keep your eye out and your ears to the street, because the money is actually out there and they're looking to fund our businesses. If you've enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button and don't forget to smack the bell so that you get notifications each and every time I post a new video or go live, because I am sharing all the information that I have and can find about growing your small business, and I want to make sure that I'm a resource to you. Now, like I said earlier, make sure you check out my video, Resources for Black Women Entrepreneurs, because I'm sharing additional resources on how to get funding for your business that are grants and different programs and all that good jam that you need to go and you need to apply for. And if you have any other resources or things that you want to share with the community, go ahead and drop a chat in the comment. I want to hear from you. I want to know what other resources are out there so that we can fund the business and share the wealth. Until next time.